to this Melanated podcast where we shed light on black creatives all over the D.M.V. Today we are here with Tyvin Alekzandr, CEO and owner of Tyvin Alekzandr clothing brand. What's up, Tyler? How are you?
How are you? How are you? I'm glad to be on the show. Thank you.
Yes, it's low-key been a minute. We've been trying to get you on the show for a hot second. We've been going back and forth. So I'm glad you actually got the chance to do it with us today.
Yeah, I finally got to.
Yeah, we finally got the chance to do it with you today. Okay, so you know this is a D.M.V. based podcast. So what part of the D.M.V. are you originally from?
So originally I'm from Washington, D.C., but I've moved all over, like Maryland and Virginia. I've lived in Maryland majority of my life. I've been over.
So Maryland, what part of Maryland?
Upper Marlboro, Largo, Glendale, Sea Pleasant, yeah, everywhere. I just been everywhere. I moved everywhere around the city, so it's not really a place where I can really say it's truly home for me.
Okay, so you just really D.M.V.
Like,
down.
I just been moving my whole life pretty much. So.
Okay. So you said you was originally from D.C.
Originally, I wasn't from Southeast, so I
Okay.
stayed in Southeast since I was like 7. Then I moved to Maryland, and that's when
you just started moving around. I did the same thing honestly because I was in PG, then I moved to Moco, so it's just been bouncing.
Oh yeah, see, you know what it feel like.
Yeah, like you know when you say you're from the D.M.V., you really from the D.M.V.
Yeah, so I know all walks of life pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so how old are you? We're gonna start there. You have a clothing brand. You just started this. So like, how old are you? When did you start it?
So I'm 24. My birthday was just on July 25th. So happy birthday to me, y'all. Happy birthday to me. But I started my clothing brand when I was 21 years old. Originally, I didn't know how I was going to bring it to life because I didn't have any resources to. Then I just connected with the right people and I made things happen. Journey, definitely a journey for sure. I can't remember a time where I didn't think I would get to where I'm at today. But I made it happen.
So how did you even get into fashion?
When I was in high school, I had friends. They were kind of in the fashion industry. I had a lot of friends who dabbled in fashion. You know, when we was kids, we always trying to be fly. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to showcase that of my own. All of my friends back in the day, they had like thoughts of a clothing brand too, but they just never brought it to life like I did. But I had a friend, his name's Kahari. He used to make clothes all the time, and he would wear them to school like on homecoming and stuff like that. But I never really told him that I was in the clothes too. Then I found out another one of our friends, he was in the clothes, and then I'm like, dang, like I'm in the clothes too, but I'm not telling anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm trying to figure out how I can, showcase my skills and let people know that I'm in that life too.
Oh.
So over time, took a lot of courage for me to do it, but I ended up, brandishing it and bringing it forward.
Okay, so what was the moment when you was like, all right, bro, I ain't playing no more. I'm about to start this business. Tyvin Alekzandr about to become a real thing. We bring this to life. We doing this.
Man, it had to be when I was 21. I remember I was working a dead-end job, and things wasn't hitting so good.
You said it like you was struggling at 30. I was working a dead-end job.
I'm not trying to say it like that, but it was just like I really got to a point in my life where I was just like, man, this ain't working.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna get up off my butt and do it. You know what I'm saying? Something kicked up in me. It's just like a surge of motivation.
Okay.
So here I am today. I want to say over the course of like the 2 years that I have been in business, I have been, I want to say, going back and forth with trying to balance everything.
Okay.
But
what do you mean when you say balance everything? What is everything?
my work life and my personal life, with social life, and just trying to run my business too. So all three of those things came in the way.
So do you work right now?
Yeah, I do.
So you're doing your business part-time?
Yes.
So how is it like being a black entrepreneur, doing this part-time, and also trying to get everything else together? Like you said, growing a brand. How do you think you balance it all?
It's not easy for sure. I think over the period of time, you have to have this mindset that this is something that you really want to do. If you go into something, always see it through, of course, with anything that you do. But most of the time that I have, really just taking it step by step, like doing a little bit of this, doing a little bit of that. So really how I balance it is I try to set days where I say, okay, this day I'm gonna focus solely on my business, and then, you know, of course when I work I have to work.
Yeah.
But it's always about, like, you know, scheduling and everything, and keeping a neat time to do everything, you know, just to try to not, you know.
So how was that working out for you to keep it a neat schedule?
Not good. I ain't gonna lie.
I know, that's why I'm asking you, because when I try to balance this thing, Miss Melanated, work, school, whatever, it gets to be a lot. I can't even lie to you, but just kind of like you said, knowing what you want to do and keeping it pushing. So, okay, what are your plans for Tyvin Alekzandr? Like, why did you choose a clothing brand, and what type of clothing brand is it necessarily?
Okay. This is gonna be a little funny, but when I first started, a lot of people thought that my clothing brand was evil. It's not.
Oh, evil.
It's not. They thought it was evil. It's not, because they seen the eyeball. They was like, "Oh, he worshiped the devil." I'm like, "No, I'm a Christian. I don't worship the devil at all. I go to church and I pray to God and all that stuff." So I'm like, "Where is this coming from?" And a lot of people wear like different clothing brands, and they a little promiscuous too. So I'm like, why y'all attacking me? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, dang. But what my clothing brand really was based upon was, it's an eye. So the eye represents everybody. You, your friends, your enemies, your mother, your father, your family. Everybody is looking at you to see what you're gonna do when you get older. Are you gonna be successful? Or are you gonna be a failure? Mm-hmm. No, naturally, if you have a family that doubts you, it's easy to go the other way and say, "Oh, they don't believe in me. Maybe I might not be anything." And as we all have at one point in time in our lives, we have felt like that. But it was more so of me trying to tell people that you can make something out of anything. Anything is possible, because I've done it.
Okay.
Yeah. So after a while, I try to explain it to people, to like let them know what it truly means, instead of them thinking that it's some like evil cursed eye or anything like that. But they you know, they got it, and then everybody's jumping ship. So
how do you feel like your clothing brand sets you apart from other clothing brands?
for sure, the fabrics. The fabrics. I'm not gonna make a blanket statement, but I feel like I have the most versatile fabrics in the D.M.V. I do. Not a lot of people use the fabrics that I use. They are a little unique, so it might not catch everybody's eye, but it most certainly is like a shocker to people who see it. They're like, "Oh, what type of material is that?" You know what I mean? So it's like, that's why I feel like I branch away from people at. I don't feel like I make something that's totally like out of the perspective that anybody else would see walking down the street. Like, it's not something like a strapless bra or anything like that, but you know, it's something that's eye-catching for sure, and that's why I feel like I pretty much just surpass people in it.
Okay. So, you being a black entrepreneur, what would you say to other black entrepreneurs looking to get into clothing lines, branding? Like, what piece of advice would you give them? What points would you say to look out for? What challenges did you have to face, overcome to get to where you are? And how do you feel like you're growing over the years?
One thing I could possibly say is don't give up, for sure. If you actually think that this is something that you might want to do, really sit down and think with yourself, like, everything that you're going to go through. And that's with any business, not even just a clothing line, that's with any business. Really sit down and really think, is this worth it to me? Do I see me going somewhere with it? Is this something that I could possibly make a living off of? And it's something that I'm passionate about, most importantly. Some challenges you're going to face. You're going to face people trying to use you. In the clothing industry, you're going to face people trying to use you to get free clothes. Get discounts. Everybody think you owe them something. Let me get a discount because I know you. I don't owe you that. I have a business. I have to live. You know what I mean? So another thing that I've really just experienced myself was you're gonna get people that have a bigger platform than you. They're gonna try to use that to advantage, to like take advantage of you. Right. So it's like, okay, you feel like because I'm not as big as you, then
okay.
You know
So you
saying?
can say that. How do you feel like your brand is merging into like social media? How do you feel like that's playing a role in promoting and marketing yourself?
That if I'm being honest with you, I think that it's really an eye catcher to people. Like, people have been like DMing me, like, bro, I've never seen stuff like this that you've been doing. So it's like, I feel like it's working really well. I feel like it's some things that I could do better, but you know, we always perfectionists with our own craft, so it's like, I feel like it's doing a good job for me, but I feel like it's some way that I could be doing a little bit more. I just don't know what that more is. You know what I mean? But I think so far I have been able to reach people, and they've been able to like see my work and interact with it themselves, you know, and really love it.
Okay, so do you do like pop-up shops all over the DMV? How do you feel like is the best way you go about promoting your brand?
Of course, definitely pop-up shops. That's really where most of my, I don't know what you call it, customers or fan base. I don't know where it comes from. It's definitely pop-up shop. That's how you market yourself. I don't think there's any, I'm not gonna say there's not any other way, but that's like the best way. When you're a small business and nobody really knows who you are, you're not gonna really meet or reach as much people on social media because nobody's gonna know to look for you there. You know what I mean? So you actually have to go out and do the groundwork and talk to people so they can actually establish a connection with you personally. So that's how I pretty much gained most of my, you know, like I said, my fan base or whatever. And I've just been doing it ever since. Then after a while, I started branching off into social media too.
Okay, so let's talk about ear to mouth. Because, you know, in this time, I'm not going to say this time like an old person, but I'm just saying like nowadays, everything is social media.
Yeah.
And, you know, people forget groundwork and just meeting day-to-day people and interacting with them to grow your page. So how do you feel like when you hit the pop-up shops, what do you use to gain people or get them attracted to your brand?
Okay, so this is actually funny because I actually haven't found a sound way to do that. So usually when I get to a pop-up shop, I had bought this big old sign. Like it's a sign that like just eye-catching. I'll set it up right beside my table, and people will walk over and I'll be like, come shop the hottest brand in the DMV. And of course people be like, oh, what you talking about? There's other people in here too that got clothes. They think they stuff better than yours. So I'll try to like bait them in like that. But if I'm being serious, another way that I do it is when I'm in like the venue, I'll walk around to people's table and say, you know, how you doing? My name is such and such, and this is my brand. Come check me out when you get a chance. So that's how I get people to gradually come over to me because I'm friendly.
Okay. Okay, you try to use the friendly approach.
Yeah.
You know, I've been trying to use that. Like, I hit the streets sometimes.
Yeah.
Really just to ask people questions that kind of like merge with the podcast. Because, like I said, all we do is support black creators all over the DMV. But some people don't even know what that's about. Like, you walk up to them and they're looking at you like, what are you talking about today?
I know how that be.
What are you talking about? Okay, so do you have any major projects coming out? Do you have any new clothing dropping? Like, what is plans for the Tyvin Alekzandr brand right now?
So I have a couple pieces coming out. Right now I have a total of 3 women's pieces coming out, and then I have actual one.
Ladies, you hear that?
Yeah. It's heat. Y'all don't like it, I'm telling you. But and I also have 3 new men's pieces coming out. I'm actually wearing one of them myself. All silk. They got my name brand right here on my leg, and then as you can see, it's going across the chest. Then I got the trim line right here. The white trim line. I feel like that's different too.
You see that right there?
Nobody really seen nothing like this, so I'll be in the streets with these pretty soon.
You see that right there?
Tone A.
He did the 360 spin around for y'all. You see that right there? That's some clothing for y'all.
Yes, sir.
Let me stop playing. But okay. So where do you think these people can go shop? You gotta promote your brand. You gotta tell them where to go on social media.
Okay, so
what pages you got?
I'm gonna say it slow for you guys because I know that my clothing brand name is a mouthful. So it's my first and middle name. My middle name is spelled Alekzandr. First name Tyvin.
So put it all together.
Put it all together.
You know
Tyvin Alekzandr. That's all handles. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. I'm even on Snapchat. All that stuff is Tyvin Alekzandr. And you can buy anything that I have on Instagram that you've seen on Twitter. You can buy it on TyvinAlekzandr.com. TyvinAlekzandr.com.
So y'all heard him. He said it. 360 spin around for y'all. You see that right there?
Yes, sir.
You see that right there? So where do you think these people can go shop? You gotta promote your brand. You gotta tell them where to go on social media. So where do you think these people can go shop? You gotta promote your brand. You gotta tell them where to go on social media. So where do you think these people can go shop? You gotta promote your brand. You gotta tell them where to go on social media. So y'all heard him. He said it. you already know where to go. Social media ain't no far place to go or whatever. You click on Tyvin Alekzandr social media. Yeah, we wrapping it up, y'all. We ain't got nothing else to say.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me. You know what I'm saying? Come get fly.
Y'all already see his new pieces. He said he has 3 women pieces, and we are going to show a photo shoot for y'all, so stay tuned for that. Y'all already know where to go. Miss Melanated Podcast.